Are you curious about intermittent fasting? Have you tried it without much success? As we age, finding effective and sustainable health strategies becomes increasingly important. In this video, I'm going to share some things you probably don't know about fasting and why it's arguably the most simple and powerful approach to eating that's been transforming lives around the globe for centuries. Whether you're looking to improve the results of your current approach to fasting or just starting out, this video is packed with insights tailored specifically for mature women. Intermittent fasting could be your key to a healthier, vibrant life. And if you're new here, I'm Dr. Gayla Gorman, a licensed acupuncturist, naturopath, and author of What's Your Kryptonite? On this channel, I'm here to help you reverse the effects of chronic stress so that you can cruise through midlife and beyond symptom-free, so that you can put an end to common midlife symptoms like chronic fatigue, insomnia, mood swings, issues with gut health, and even weight gain. Let's get started by just reviewing some of the benefits of fasting. Many people will think and may even argue that fasting is really focused on just restricting calories. But the truth of the matter is that is not what is actually going on with fasting. There are a lot of ways to approach fasting, and sometimes fasting is just eliminating one thing in your diet. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're restricting the time period that you're eating, and certainly not necessarily restricting calories. But we are going to go a little further in this video and talk about intermittent fasting, which does involve restricting the time that you eat. But most importantly, the benefits that come with fasting are primarily due to a period of digestive rest. So when I explained earlier that you may have just determined that you need to eliminate one thing that's not agreeing with your system, essentially you're fasting from that one thing. And you're giving your system, your digestive system, rest from having to deal with that one offensive thing. But with intermittent fasting, we're actually giving our digestive system real sustained rest because we're not putting anything into it that requires digestion to kick in for an extended period of time. As we extend that period of time of digestive rest, a process called autophagy kicks in, and this is a really powerful healing mechanism that we want to promote as often as possible. Autophagy is how our body cleans up the cells that need to be disposed of, gets rid of debris in our body, and just renews and refreshes itself. So autophagy is a really powerful benefit of fasting. The other thing I will say is that fasting is one of the most flexible diet plans you can adopt, and I would argue that it really isn't even a diet. If you will adopt some of my suggestions here, you'll even find that this diet is great for cheaters, those people who just don't want to give up some of their favorite foods that they know aren't good for them or maybe are not agreeing with them. This flexibility that comes with fasting is one of the best benefits. So as we start to review some of the plans that would be considered intermittent fasting, the most important thing is to consider your goals. Are you really needing to jumpstart healing? Is there something serious going on with your health? That's going to require a different approach than weight loss requires certain things to sort of accumulate. We may want to really work on healing our digestive system. That's going to require another approach. Or if sleep is one of your big issues, then that will require another approach. So the best way to approach fasting, the most powerful approach, is to adopt early time restricted eating. This is sometimes referred to as ETR, and this is best if you want flexibility in what you're eating, what you are able to consume. In studies, the people that consumed essentially their normal diet, everything they would normally eat, including some things that we would consider cheater foods, but they did it earlier in the day, meaning they were done eating by 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 p.m. at the very latest, those people still managed to lose weight and accumulate health benefits even when they were not adopting a super healthy diet. Obviously, you're going to benefit more if you also improve your diet along with this approach. But for those of us that just want to be able to eat dessert from time to time, you may have heard me talk about what I refer to as the Fierce Five. And I typically encourage women that are working with me to avoid the Fierce Five, at least for a certain period of time. And that is dairy, wheat or gluten, yeast, sugar, and alcohol. Some of these things are harder to avoid than others, obviously, but if you really want to reintroduce some of these things to your diet after you have fasted from them for a period of time, then if you'll consume them earlier in the day, it'll give your body more time to deal with them. Essentially, they are all toxic ingredients for us, and our body is accumulating toxicity when we consume them. If we give our digestive system more time to handle it, it'll allow things to quiet down so that we get a good night's sleep and we can do the repair and maintenance work that's supposed to happen overnight. So there's 3 different approaches that are the primary approaches that you'll see people use when they want to accelerate the results from fasting. The first would be 18-6. So this is 6-hour eating window with 18 hours of digestive rest. This is about the minimum that is believed to kickstart autophagy, the process of autophagy. It's also a really great place to start. You just have to condition yourself to get comfortable with 2 meals a day. And if you'll eat 2 satisfying meals every day during this 6-hour eating window, best if that 6-hour eating window closes by about 3 or 4 p.m., but if you just adhere to that 6-hour eating window, you're going to start to see some results accumulating. Then there is what's known as OMAD, 1 meal a day. So this tends to work best for people with digestive issues, and it gives your body a little bit of a longer period of time for digestive rest. And it's thought that the stem cells in your intestinal tract kind of reboot at about the 24-hour point. So that can be a really powerful thing to help somebody who's got digestive issues. Again, if you've got serious digestive issues, I would suggest that you practice OMAD with the overlay of the Fierce Five, and you'll notice some of these issues really quieting down. And then there's ADF, and this is known as alternate day fasting. So traditionally it would be practiced where you would eat a meal, an evening meal. So let's just say you're practicing 18-6. So you're going to eat your late afternoon meal, and then you're not going to eat at all the following day, and then you're going to eat honestly as early as you want to eat the next day, and you're going to fast completely on that in-between day. Sometimes if you really have adrenal fatigue, if you've got blood sugar regulation issues, that can be a little too strenuous on your system, and you may need to use a fasting soup or something like that to just at least put something really gentle into your system to help offset some of these really extreme reactions until you can build up the conditioning essentially to be able to handle a true alternate day fasting. And then you will hear about a 3-day water fast. I would not suggest a 3-day water fast until you are comfortably practicing fasting all the way up to alternative day fasting, because there really are some significant things that can happen in your body that you need to be prepared to deal with if you're going to try to fast for an extended period of time. So the benefits of fasting are often thought to be primarily due to calorie restriction, but this just isn't the case. In fact, if you fast as I suggest, you'll consume the same number of calories in fewer, more satisfying meals. Restricting calories may seem like the answer, but it's a race to the bottom. And it causes stress, and your body adjusts to running on fumes. We'll talk more about that in a minute, but this is just an example of one of the countless ways stress creates symptoms and other health issues, especially during midlife. I created a video that shows you how to eliminate these symptoms naturally. I'll make sure to link to it below this video, but make sure you hit subscribe too, because I share a lot of tips when it comes to dealing with stress that's become toxic. Relieving the nasty symptoms stress creates makes cruising through midlife a breeze. So let's just look at a few of the cautions related to fasting so that you don't sabotage your efforts. One of the big things I see with women is that they find something that works for them. Let's just use OMAD, 1 meal a day. This is something that is really common in the fasting world. People just become accustomed to eating one big satisfying meal. I honestly find that very easy to do as well, but it's really important to mix it up, because otherwise your body will just adjust to that one meal and you'll stop accumulating benefits. So you really want to vary your fasting. If you're one of those people who leads a really structured life, then you're probably going to want to determine which days you fast. Maybe you'll find one day a week where you can actually do ADF, alternative day fasting, and you will sandwich that in between a couple of days of 18-6. And then maybe you'll also add in another day or two of 1 meal a day. And then you want to at least make one day a week a day that you eat kind of normally, including if you want to eat a little later, even eat, a dinner that doesn't finish until 7 o'clock. Just know that the more you cheat in that dinner meal, then the heavier and larger it is, the more likely it is that you won't sleep well that night. So it's definitely a trade-off. But this is really good for your system to kind of always be forcing it to stay on its toes and to think about what it's got to deal with next. If you condition it to do the same thing, it's just like any other muscle that you're conditioning. If you do the same exact exercise repetitively every day, at a certain point you're not really accumulating the benefits you should be accumulating for the effort you're putting in. And then remember, I talked about the Fierce 5, and the Fierce 5, again, are dairy, gluten, yeast, sugar, and alcohol. If you check out other videos on this channel, you will see where I have talked about the Fierce 5 in more detail. The Fierce 5, along with fasting, are just 2 of the 7 ways that I encourage women to use to initiate an intentional human energy system reboot. The last thing I'll just share with you is that hunger is a hormone signal. And so it can be really tricky when hunger just starts barking at you. It kind of feels like it takes over, right? But if you are curious whether it's really low blood sugar, we've all been told when we have that real sense of hunger, that just overwhelming feeling of hunger, that it's low blood sugar and that we have to eat, and we have to eat something really carby, sugary, potentially even. And so I encourage you to get a Keto Mojo. And you can find one at Amazon and learn to test your blood sugar when that happens, because you will find most likely that it is not your blood sugar that is crashing. In fact, your blood sugar still may be a little high from the last time you ate. Until our body gets conditioned to burn fat for fuel, it takes a long time to burn off all that extra sugar the glycogen stores. And so when you actually test your blood sugar, it will give you peace of mind that you can continue pushing on and pushing past that feeling, that intense feeling of hunger. And if you'll give it a little bit of time, you'll find that it really dissipates and you can fast for several more hours without much discomfort. You may not even really think you're hungry. One of the things you can do during this period is drink some mineral water. Sometimes I'll have a mineral water, squeeze a little bit of fresh lime, and you'll find that it really takes the edge off and buys you a few more hours for your fasting window. And if your best efforts to live a healthy lifestyle and do all the things you've been led to think are supposed to work aren't getting the job done, you may even be feeling like you take 2 steps forward and 3 back. In my next video, I'll show you how to manage the toxic stress that's sabotaging your efforts. You can eliminate the symptoms that seem to be piling up in midlife naturally without medication, crazy diets, intense exercise, or any other unsustainable lifestyle hack.